Welcome to the V101 Media Mustang Show. I'm Leonard Caplan, along with
Cat Darnell.
Cat Darnell. We're sitting here in the control room of the media studio at the Medford Vocational Technical High School, and we're about to do the first podcast, which will be the model for the podcast that we do with the students.
Groundbreaking.
Yes. So why don't we start? These segments are going to be very short. So people won't be bored listening to them in their car or wherever they happen to listen. So we're going to start with you interviewing me.
All right.
So, and then I'm going to interview you. Okay?
Okay.
So here we go.
All right, Len. So, what got you into this field in the first place? Into the media industry?
I was a sophomore in high school at Mullen Catholic High School, and TV production was offered. And we had, our teachers were Zavarian brothers, and the Zavarian brother's name was Brother Feely. And he taught us the basics of multi-camera production, microphones, everything that I teach today, except without the computers.
Yeah.
And he had reel-to-reel tapes that we had to learn to spool, which was very hard for me, because I'm not the most coordinated person in the world. And I was hooked. I liked being in front of the camera. I love writing scripts. And that was a good course for me.
Yeah, sounds like it. So when did you decide to become a teacher?
Well, being a teacher actually came about by accident because I wanted to get into television. I'd first majored in journalism at Northeastern. And I was so shy I could not interview anyone. I could not approach anyone. I could not call somebody on the phone that I didn't know. And I said, maybe I shouldn't be a reporter. So then I remembered the TV class from high school, so I decided to go to Emerson College for my master's in mass communication. And from there, I tried to get a job in television. Very, very competitive, as I didn't realize at the time, just out of college. And finally I had an interview at Warner Cable. I had been volunteering there in the one in Somerville, the station in Somerville, Public Access, for about 6 months. And I had an interview, and I found myself at Swampscott High School. They hired me at the station, which was down the street in Lynn. And they said, oh, you're not at this studio. You're at the high school studio. So I said to myself, what? So I went into the high school. It was a broken down place with broken down equipment. And the first day I almost quit because I didn't anticipate working with kids.
Yeah.
I didn't teach classes, wasn't certified. It wasn't a class. It was an after-school activity. But within probably a week, it became a really fun job. Low paying, but very fun.
Yeah, I bet. So what's it like now teaching at Medford High? There's a lot of different equipment that you're getting used to right now.
In the mid-90s, a former student of mine had a job at a summer camp in Brookline, and he invited me to work with him. They had a video department there, and he actually re-taught me how to edit what I had been doing for 15 years. I learned how to do on the computer. We had Final Cut. No, Final Cut wasn't invented then. We had Adobe Premiere, which is the ancestor of what we use here at Medford. And it took me a long time to consider myself as good an editor on computer as I was in the regular non-computer editing. So in this place, a little bit of a learning curve because every studio that you go in is a little bit different from the last one. So we have a server here, which I had never worked with before. We always work with, at my old school, remote hard drives. And you can take the hard drive home, whatever, bring your own hard drive. And we have a teleprompter here, which is a big luxury.
Yes.
And yeah, and we have a big screen. The best part for a teacher, we have a big screen where I could teach people how to edit all at one time. They can all sit at their own computers and see what I'm doing on the screen on the wall, and then imitate the moves that I'm making.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping to do in this job is to get all the students going on their own projects and fill up the station, just like at other places where I work. The job is always to fill up the channel with programming. So that's what I do. That's what I try to do. And that always shows the people in the community, oh, look what they're doing. At Swampscott, we had a cooking show, a comedy show, 2 sports talk shows. In Melrose, I had the kids, middle school kids, were doing a show called PC and Video Game Chat. So any technical innovation that would come out in the media, they would tell the audience before it even was marketed.
Oh.
Those kids were pretty sharp. And so the sky's the limit. What I like about this job is it's never the same every day. And there's always something to be created either by the students or you and the students. So let's turn it to you now. Enough about me. So Catherine, how did you come to be in this spot, being an intern post-college? You just graduated college.
Yeah, well, it's a funny story, actually. So I was at my friend's graduation party, and Mike McLaughlin, he's up in the
Main office.
The main office, yeah. He was a mutual friend. I've known him for a while, and we got to talking, and I was like, I don't know what my next step is going to be. I just graduated from communications. And he told me about how the Medford Vogue just opened up this this media technical shop, and that I should apply to be an intern. So I sent out my information, and my first interview with Chad Fallon was very interesting because he, right off the bat, was like, how would you feel about teaching a class? And I was like, I've never thought about teaching a class. It's not really something that I'm very interested in. And he told me that I should take these tests. All you have to do is get a 70. And I went to take the test. I failed by 5 points, and I'm honestly kind of happy I failed because I don't think I could teach this class every day.
I think you're doing a great job as my assistant here, along with Claire Harrison, who we will be interviewing in another show.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, inexperience is curable by experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're doing a great job. You always help the kids when I need you to, and you know your way around. You know how to edit. You know how to shoot. You know what a good skit is. Now, you're also, I know a little bit from what you told me, you do a little acting.
Oh, yeah.
You do a little writing.
My acting days.
You're a creative force within yourself. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been writing since I was a kid. It started with like songs that I would perform to my parents. And then in 5th grade, we did a lot of creative writing. And none of my friends liked doing it, so they would always ask me to write all their papers for them, and I would, and they'd get really good grades. High school, a lot of my teachers told me that I showed a lot of promise and that I should keep doing it. In college, I stuck with the writing, but I didn't want to like write books or anything like that. That's when I sort of went on to the media fields, and I really enjoyed that because there's a whole visual aspect to your writing, and you really get to bring it to life. Like, I do a lot of different voices and stuff that go along with the writing, and it would be lost if someone's just reading it. Like, they're not going to know exactly where it's coming from.
So it sounds like you'd be good in voiceover work.
I think so.
Have you ever tried to pursue that or
No,
learn
I
more
haven't.
about it?
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Well, I can tell you after the show a lot of places where you could start. There's some local places in Boston. There's some online classes you can take with experts, which I've taken a little bit of. It's a lot of marketing when you do voiceover work. Because if you can be the most talented person in the world doing voices, and if nobody knows that you're there, nobody's going to see your YouTube demo or SoundCloud demo or anything. So you have to really get yourself out there and market, which is hard for me, which is why I have been doing voiceover for a while, and I've had one major client in Belgium where I did a British voice. I didn't tell you about this?
No.
And that gig ended, and I didn't really know where to go from there, so I took an online course in marketing, but then I got this job. So I kind of stopped myself because I had to learn what's going on here in the studio and learn how to operate it, you know. So the regular teacher, Christina Frazier, was with me for 1 or 2 weeks, and I was watching what she did and trying to make contact with some of the vendors that she deals with to buy equipment. And so then the third week, I'm on my own. So I've been kind of winging it with you and Claire. And the Freshman Exploratory, they last 8 days, and they get introduced to the program. That's the way a vocational school works, which I didn't know. I guess last year it was a 4-day trial period.
4 days?
Yes.
That's not enough.
No, well, that's why they increased it to 8 days. But I'm veering, because I was telling you about voiceover, but I'll tell you more about voiceover after the show.
Good. I look forward to it.
So, anything else that we should know about you before we end this podcast?
About me? Oh, I don't know. Right now I'm working with my boss. I work at a hair salon, and I'm going to be doing a lot of his videos and editing those. So I'm excited to see where that goes, because he knows a lot of people, the higher ups. Hopefully I can just attach myself to him. And
that's how it's done.
Yeah.
Networking is everything. It's not what you know sometimes, but who you know.
Yeah.
As they say. Biggest cliche in the world, but it happens to be true.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the end of our first podcast. We don't want to make it too long. I want to break my word here. So until next time, when we interview Claire Harrison, our other intern, I'm Leonard Caplan.
And I'm Cat Darnell.
Saying so long, and join us next time.